Hello, hyperspace. My name is Davontos, and it's time to get hyped because this is 15 minutes of Division gameplay. It's me and Aura working together, trying to fight off some Rikers or Rioters or Cleaners. I don't know what they are, but I know what they're going to be when we're finished. They're going to be dead! So there's a little bit of gaming news going on. Apparently something's going on with Nintendo. That doesn't really affect me much because I don't play Wii and it's regarding to the Wii U. But there are a couple of you guys who do have a Wii U or plan on getting a Wii U for your birthday or Christmas or any holiday coming in the future. You might want to rethink that because apparently Nintendo reportedly stops the Wii U production in late 2016. Now, you probably have to say goodbye to your Wii games because there's a couple of sources that's saying Nintendo is struggling with the Wii U consoles and they're basically going to stop all future productions for the Wii U. That includes making future Wii U games or add-ons like, the Wiimote or stuff like that, anything you can attach onto your Wii U. They're saying they're going to stop making that come late 2016. Now this is probably regarding, I just got shot in the ass. This is regarding to the Nintendo NX. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the NX is going to launch 2016. Nintendo's just saying they're going to stop production for the Wii U in late 2016. Now, nobody really knows what's happening with the NX. Nintendo's staying very quiet about that. But it kind of, I don't think it's a really good move for Nintendo because the Wii U is still a very young console. Usually consoles last in the market for, I'd say about anywhere from 5 to 7, 8 years. And the Wii U, as far as I can remember, the Wii U is only about, 4 years old? And that's very, very young for a console. And on top of that, there are so many games that came out for Wii U that are a huge success. Maybe not financially for Nintendo, but there are a lot of big games for the Wii U. And most noticeable is Smash Brothers. Now, Smash Brothers also came out for the 3DS, and a lot of people have more 3DSs than they do Wii U's. But there are people who want to buy the game for Wii U because maybe the graphics are better or it has more content. But even so, there are some people who don't know about this, cancel for the production management for the Wii U. So if you know anybody who's planning to get a Wii U for Christmas or any time in the future, try to talk to them and tell them that, the Wii U's going to stop future production in late 2016. And that doesn't mean the NX is coming anytime soon. As I said before, we don't know when the NX is coming. But it does mean that come late 2016, whatever games and accessories are out for the Wii U at that point, that's what you're going to be stuck with. It's kind of like the PlayStation 3 at this point. I don't see Sony making a lot of games for PlayStation 3 because we're all focused on PlayStation 4. And if we do make games for PlayStation 3s, they're basically like cheap versions of what we get on PlayStation 4. I mean, look at Black Ops 3. You look at Black Ops 3 graphics, and you look at PlayStation 3's graphics on the Black Ops 3 on the PlayStation 3. Look at that graphics, and we're looking at I would say we're talking to PlayStation 2 era. Because the graphics of BO3 on PS3 is terrible. There are a whole bunch of comparison videos up floating around the internet. And it just doesn't look like a Call of Duty. It looks like one of these, cheap shooter games that some indie company makes, and it's not really a huge hit. I mean, you obviously see it's Black Ops 3, but just the way it looks, the way it feels, and a lot of complaints are going around it that they're not really updating it that much. The guns are broken, and it's something that a lot of people should really look into. Now, if you guys have a PlayStation 3 and you want to continue buying games for the PlayStation 3, I would suggest to just don't buy the game for PlayStation 3. Even if you're a hardcore, let's say, Call of Duty fan, just skip out on next year's Call of Duty and save up that money to get a PlayStation 4. Because if you're a PlayStation 3 gamer and you don't have next gen, well, I wouldn't say it's really next gen now because it's been out for a while, but if you have a PlayStation 3 and don't have a PlayStation 4, just stop buying games for the PlayStation 3 at this point. Because it's coming to a time where the games that's coming out now is going on to next gen, and since technology is evolving so fast, we don't know how long the PlayStation 4 is going to stay in business. There are already word going around that they're going to make a more upgraded version of the PlayStation 4 that has more data, faster hard drive speed, faster uploads, and you can upload videos of higher quality. But it's still technically a PlayStation 4. It's like getting the 60 gig PS3 compared to the 280 gig PS3. They're kind of doing that again. But with the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, I would suggest just stop buying games all in general. Save up the money you're going to spend on PlayStation 3 games. Just save that up and get yourself a PlayStation 4. Because as far as I can remember, they said the PlayStation 3 is going to become obsolete in about 1 to 2 years. Now, they said that in 2015. It's already 2016, so maybe by the end of this year, if not sometime next year, PlayStation 3 will become obsolete. Which means basically the same thing that the NS is doing, and Nintendo is doing. They're going to stop making anything for the PlayStation 3, and they're going to focus, oh, you heard that, it was a good one! So they're going to focus all of their product management and everything else to the PlayStation 4. And yeah, I see it's really wrong what these companies are doing, because there are so many people who spent so much money and so much time on the PlayStation 3 or previous gens to just toss it away like that. But that's how the business works. That's what they do. I mean, look at PlayStation Home. There were many people on PlayStation 3's PlayStation Home. And for those of you who don't know what PlayStation Home is, it was this simulation social network on the PlayStation 3 where you create an avatar and you basically walk around in parks and cities and you talk to other players, kind of like a social network. And what you could have done in PlayStation Home was you could have bought yourself a Sony PlayStation card, let's say 20 bucks, and you could have bought your avatar a lot of clothes and pants and accessories, decorate your house, but you had to spend real money on that. And they were cheap. Let's say you got to spend like 50 cents and you get yourself a nice jacket, or you spend $1.99 and you get yourself a whole furniture set for your house. It was rather cheap. At least most items are rather cheap. But there are people who spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on PlayStation Home because they really liked it. And me, for one, I actually like PlayStation Home myself. So they would spend a lot of money on PlayStation Home, and turned to come that when the PlayStation 4 came out, to, I guess, further make future production on the PlayStation 4, they had to cancel a couple of things on the PlayStation 3, because of time. And they wind up canceling any future production on PlayStation Home, to a point where they just shut down the entire PlayStation Home game network, whatever you want to call it. They just shut down the entire thing. And that means however much money anyone has spent on PlayStation Home has just been thrown to the dogs at this point. So if you were in PlayStation Home and you had literally every apartment and every piece of furniture and every clothing, and you wind up spending $200, $300 on PlayStation Home, on that day, the network shut down for PlayStation Home, PlayStation Home was canceled, and you just lost all of your money. And the only thing you got out of it was a note from PlayStation saying thank you for your time. That's pretty much what they did. And yeah, that's very, very wrong, but that's how the gaming company works. Eventually they're going to wind up stopping, production for the PlayStation 4, come PlayStation 5, or whatever their future console is going to be. They're going to wind up stopping. So if I were to make a suggestion, stop getting things for the PlayStation 3 at this point, because the PlayStation 4 is still young. And hopefully they don't do what Nintendo did. Hopefully they don't keep the PlayStation 4 alive for like 3 years, 4 years, and then they stop it and make the PlayStation 5. Because Nintendo, that was a very bad move you just did, because a lot of people still want that Wii U for Christmas or their birthday. But maybe come the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 is going to be dated, and maybe you can actually switch over to play some of the PS4 games as you could have in the I think it was the Wii. Yeah, the Wii could have played some GameCube games, so your GameCube games were still useful. But games nowadays have this online feature, and I'm not too sure how the network works with this online feature. I don't know if it's going to be like, there's a strict network that applies to PlayStation 4 online players that differs from PlayStation 3. But even so, it's still better to switch over to next gen before next gen becomes too old. Because when it becomes too old, and you switch over when it's dated, you're going to wind up seeing yourself going through the whole thing all over again. You're going to be buying PlayStation 4 games when PlayStation 4 is going to become obsolete in the next year or two. But there are some really good games that's coming out for PlayStation 4. I mean, for those of you who are huge Street Fighter fans, we got Street Fighter 5 that just came out. We got a couple of games coming out for PlayStation 4 as well. And speaking of fighting games, Pokken Tournament was huge on Nintendo, and it came out for the Wii U. And then come to think, you're going to play Pokken Tournament on the Wii U for a short time before the Wii U becomes obsolete. That's what I mean, that Nintendo really made a bad move there. But anyway, We have, you know, Street Fighter just came out. Street Fighter's going to get some DLC coming on later this year. And I believe there was a leak not too long ago that showed a lot of fighters who's going to make it in. We got some goalie. We got, I think her name was Julie, that kickboxing lady. We have a couple of nice people coming to Street Fighter V. And if you're not into fighting games, we got Uncharted 4, which is going to be huge. And I'm pretty sure Uncharted 4 is not going to be making it on the way to PlayStation 3. We got Call of Duty, which always comes out every year. And come next year's Call of Duty, or this year's Call of Duty, I don't think it's going to be able to make it to PlayStation 3 if it is what people are saying it is. Now, people are saying this year's Call of Duty is going to be a mixture of every single Call of Duty from COD 4 to Black Ops 3. So that means you can, let's say for example, use the Galil from Black Ops 1 and you can use that in a Modern Warfare 3 map. Or you can use the Barrett 50 cal in Black Ops 3's Splash map. And if that's the case, that means this game's going to have a lot of content, and I don't think they can squeeze all of that on a PlayStation 3. Now, this isn't some marketing campaign. I'm not doing this. Sony's not paying me to say this. I wish Sony was paying me to say this, but this isn't like some marketing campaign. I'm not doing this for Sony. I'm actually doing this so you guys can be updated and know what's happening and possibly take, I guess, the best route on what to do for your future gaming experience, because obviously Sony is going to stop and they don't care if you have a PlayStation 3. I mean, they don't even care if you're still playing PlayStation 1 now, but if you want to, you know, keep in line and stay updated and have the latest games and intel and all this fun stuff that everybody else is doing, it's best to upgrade as soon as possible. And now that the old gens are starting to die out, it's best to stop buying whatever you're buying for the old gen and just save it so you can get the new gen console. But that's all I have for you guys, so if you liked the video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me on Twitter at Davontos, man. And as always, I'll see all of you in my next video, which is probably coming on later today because I didn't upload a video yesterday. So as always, all of you, have a nice day.